Hi, this video is about if statements and Boolean operators and mathematical operators and how you can combine them to get the results you want. We're going to do this in the context of a multiple choice question. Consider the following instance variables and method that appear in a class representing student information. So we've got two instance variables, assignments completed and test average, which is a double. Okay. We've also got an uncompleted method that returns a Boolean value called isPassing. And we're told that a student can pass a programming course if at least one of the following conditions is met. The student has a test average that is greater than or equal to 90. So if they have that, they pass. Or, it's important that I said or, right? Because it's at least one, it's not both. Or the student has a test average that is greater than or equal to 75 and has at least 4 completed assignments. So those are the two things that will allow a student to pass. So let's take a look at the options that they give us. So in the first case, first Roman numeral 1 is, okay, if test average is greater than or equal to 90, return true. So that takes care of this one, right? So if that student has that condition, they will, it will return true. And then it says if test average is greater than or equal to 75, and there's the Boolean operator and, right? These are arithmetic operators, greater than, less than, etc. That's a Boolean operator and the assignments completed are greater than or equal to 4, right? That's the greater than or equal to 75 for the test average. Got that. And has at least 4 completed assignments. Assignments completed is greater than or equal to 4, return true. Otherwise, if neither of these have returned true, right? And remember, whenever you get to a return value, you exit the method. So it's going to exit the method if it finds that condition true or if it finds that condition true. Otherwise, it's going to return false. So this actually looks pretty good, right? I mean, this is okay. Right? Put one of those things next to it. And now let's come down to this thing. So here we start off by setting a local variable, Boolean variable pass equal to false. So we're saying right at the start, okay, they haven't passed. Now let's see if we can change that. So if test average is greater than or equal to 90, return true. So we know from above that that takes care of the first condition. Else, if test average greater than or equal to 75 and assignments completed greater than or equal to 4, pass equals true. And then we have this one return statement as opposed to these 3 return statements up in item 1, which returns the value of pass, which is fine because we set pass to false to begin with, right? And we only flipped it to true if one of the conditions were met. So this is also good, right? So finally, we're going to return whatever this expression evaluates to, right? And since our method returns a Boolean, this works just fine, right? We don't need to return true or false. We can return whatever an expression that evaluates to true or false evaluates to, because it's going to evaluate to either true or false. Okay, so return test average greater than or equal to 90. That's our first condition, right? This one. So that's good. If that's true, or, right? That's the or Boolean operator. Test average is greater than or equal to 75 and assignments completed is greater than or equal to 4. So that's our second condition. So if either of those conditions is true, then this returns true. If both of those conditions, right, if that's false, that evaluates to false, and this evaluates to false, then since neither of those is true, right, this will return false. If one of them is true, because of the or, it will return true. If neither of them are true, it returns false. So this also works. So the answer to this question is actually the answer that has, see if I can get this in here. Oh, too tiny. Well, it's E. 1, 2, and 3 is the answer. So you'll actually have I'll put the full question up in in haiku so you can see it. Okay, so just some other stuff about if statements, right? You can make these quite complicated. In its general rule, the simpler you make the if statements, the less likely you are to create something which is difficult to understand and therefore possibly is wrong. Do you remember that you can use the not sign, right, to flip something? So if I did a not here, right, it would take whatever this evaluated to and flip it to the opposite. So not true is false. So if this evaluated to true, this whole thing would be flipped to false. Right? So you can use not, and or are the three Boolean operators. Notice that the arithmetic operators, they have their own PEMDAS precedence evaluation, but you'll notice that they do evaluate higher before the ands and the ors and the nots. So, so you don't need to put parentheses around that sub, right, expression to force that to happen before the and is done, right? It doesn't do this. It doesn't and 75 and assignments completed, because the Boolean operators have a lower precedence. They're evaluated after the arithmetic operators. Okay, something to keep in mind. The other thing, of course, is that you can do else, right? And that's pretty straightforward. And you can also do else. You see this quite often. You guys have seen this all year. Else if, right? And start up again with a whole new condition after the if statement. All right. So I think that's all I want to say about if statements today. Okay, thanks.